The Parkersburg Area Community Foundation held its 63rd annual meeting last week to kick off their strategic planning process for this year. Amy Nally, executive director of the PACF, said they began their meeting with staff introductions and recognitions. Their keynote speaker for the meeting was Becky Mathis-Stump, co-founder of the Ethos Leadership Group. Nally said the keynote highlighted how small acts can make for strong communities. The foundation also honored two of their board members who retired this year, Robert Wright and Dave McClure.
In 2026, we're going to be starting our strategic planning process with Ethos Leadership Group. So Becky was able to use part of her keynote to get some feedback from the crowd. So I hope to come back in a year with some goals and action items for the foundation.
The PACF and their regional affiliates connect donors with needs in the community through established funds. They also offer scholarships and grants. They are the stewards of around 500 funds and cover 11 counties.